We've got Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama on the line. He joins us each and every Wednesday night from his show The Way It Is on Fox 97.9 to talk Alabama football, with the Tide lining up against Texas A&M in Kyle Field. Of course, the Aggies have won 4 consecutive games after that historic meltdown at the Rose Bowl in Week 1. So let's credit the Aggies for coming back off the deck to for the time being, protect their coach's job. And with the falter of LSU and some other teams in the SEC Western Division, the Aggies having already defeated South Carolina in the East, and with Florida coming up in a couple weeks, 9-3, as we mentioned, not out of the realm of possibility for Texas A&M this season. If they could pull off the unthinkable and beat Alabama at home, then, of course, all bets are off. Kingsley Keke, defensive lineman for Texas A&M, mentioned this week that definitely technique is going to be a concern, as his defensive line is going to have to stay disciplined and ready to take on that Alabama running game and Jalen Hurts and contain the quarterback, but at the same time close up those running lanes and don't let him break contain, because the offense for Alabama has been devastating the last 2 weeks in particular, Stephen.
It has been. You have to give a lot of credit to Brian Dable. Brian Dable coming in 17 years in the National Football League, including 10 with the New England Patriots. And it was a question to see how could he make this offense effective. You're coming behind Lane Kiffin, who, 3 years at Alabama, 2014 through 2016, did a lot of good things. Now, his off-the-field oddball antics gave people a lot of problems, but on the field as a coach, as a coordinator, you can't deny the genius Lane Kiffin was. We're talking 36.9 points a game in his 3 years. We're talking a red zone efficiency of 85.8%. We're talking 2 3,000-yard passers in Jake Coker and Blake Sims. We're talking an SEC Offensive Player of the Year in Jalen Hurts as a freshman. We're looking at 2 1,000-yard receivers in Amari Cooper and Calvin Ridley. We're even talking about a Heisman winner in Derrick Henry, who, by the way, is 6'3" and 250 pounds. So, Lane Kiffin, for what he was given and how long that 3-year marriage ran, which was 3 years, you got to give props to Lane Kiffin for what he was able to do. That being said, Brian Dable has come in, and despite, the offense putting up 14 points touchdown-wise against Florida State, the last 4 weeks, it's been impressive. 35 points touchdown-wise versus Fresno State and Colorado State. And then the last 2 weeks against Southeastern Conference competition, you put up, 8 touchdowns against the likes of Vanderbilt and Ole Miss. So tip your cap off to Brian Dable and also Michael Loskley, the co-OC and wide receivers coach. They've done well. They have done firm. But like you said, going back to Texas A&M, and it's not just Keke Kingsley. Look in that secondary where Armani Watts is concerned. This is a huge game for him. You have to not only force turnovers, but Armani Watts, just play your game. The last couple of weeks, he's been so bent on trying to make sure the young defensive backs know what they're supposed to do, but he's the one getting burned. If you're Armani Watts, you're an All-American safety, an All-SEC caliber player, somebody that's going to be playing on Sundays in the NFL. Just do your job, play with energy, and let the chips fall where they may.
South Carolina with 7 sacks last weekend against South Carolina, 4 of those in the fourth quarter to help the Aggies hold off South Carolina 24-17 in its SEC second game, actually. Was going to say the opener, but they defeated, of course, Arkansas on the neutral field in overtime in a shootout, 50-43. So A&M at 2-0 in the SEC, 4-1 overall, taking on the Tide this week. All right, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama breaking things down for us each and every week. Join him on Fox 97.9. His show is The Way It Is each and every weekday afternoon, 2 to 4 Central Time. Stephen, we appreciate it. As always, great insight, and enjoy the football this weekend.
Will do, Mark. We got to get you on the app, man. You got to tune into The Way It Is a couple of nights, Got to have you tune
I will
in.
need to do that. If you don't grill me too much, I will get around to doing that at some point.
Because, we have some fun conversation, my co-host Matt and I, and we want you to listen in, and probably one day we want to hear your thoughts on what's going on with this national landscape, because we know you're Mr. Worldwide over there.
I do my best to try to watch them all and have a take on everything. It's much appreciated, Stephen.
No problem, man. Have a good one.